Hi guys, welcome to my validation tutorial. In this tutorial, you're gonna be learning validation. There are three type of validations in Angular. Those are template-driven validation, reactive form validation, and a custom validation. So in this tutorial, you're gonna be learning only a template-driven validation. Let's start with the template driven validation. The template driven validation is it is only meant with an plain HTML document. So in the plain HTML document, in the input elements, you are going to you're going to be writing the validations. Okay, so before starting a validation, we have things called control classes. These control classes, whenever the input elements are you start typing in the input text boxes, these classes will be triggered. These six classes will be triggered. These are called control classes. And you see these six classes. First is ng is valid. Whenever the text element is valid, you have written some kind of validations for that input element. The If the input element is valid, okay, the ng valid class will be triggered. So if it is invalid, ng invalid is triggered. If it is not been filled with any of the text, the ng pristine will be called. And when you start typing in the text boxes, ng dirty will be triggered. And when you come out of the text box, the ng touched will be called, and you haven't been touched any text boxes, and ng untouched will be triggered. So let's start coding this. I'll show you how these classes being operated when you actually start code coding. So yeah, come to the context components. Okay, here. So you have the form control name as a first name. So let's see, like what are the classes will be triggered when you actually start typing in the text box. So use to uh, first dot class name, your hashtag for this. This is an ng model. You're building the ng model. So yeah. So yeah, these are the classes. So first one is a form control. This text box is a form control. Whenever you add an element to your web page, it displays as a form control uh, for one input. Okay, remember I told you, whenever you didn't start writing in the text box, it is the ng pristine is triggered. So the form is valid now because we haven't written any validations over there. So ng touched is the text box is not been touched. So when you click and come back, oh sorry, let's refresh it. I'll show you how ng touched will work. So when you touch it and come to the next input box, it is changed. It is triggered to ng touched, and you see the ng touched over here. So let's start with the validation now. First we write only required for this. So required. So when you write required, so it is an invalid state. When you start typing, it changes to ng valid state. So there are a lot of validations now. Slowly we start one after the other validations. So ng required, you have min length, min length min length equal to some two. Okay, two characters have been allowed, and the pattern will be, I'll just copy paste my pattern. This is a pattern for, you know it should allow only alphabets in the text box. Okay, so yeah, now what we'll write is, we need to display this message, right? So we'll write a do over here, do, and it's going to be triggered when a user starts typing in the text box. Okay, so ng if when, the form name, okay, the control form, contact form, and uh, the controls of it is first name, dot, when is when user start typing means, I told you, like ng dirty will work out here. So when it is dirty, the div should be triggered. So yeah, and we'll write a validation error message for required right now. So give a div, uh, give a bootstrap class as alert, danger, danger, danger. So it shows the danger kind of messages in the red color box. So, and it should be triggered in when error is required. So uh, control forms dot controls dot has error of required. So when the text box is required, the input element is purely empty, then this error message is going to be displayed over here. So the first name is required. So go ahead and save it, and let's see like how it works. Yeah, here start typing. So when you have written only for required, so when you start typing, you have used engine dirty over here. So when the user start typing, then only the validation error messages control classes are triggered over here. So see, now it is showing error when you use the pristine. So pristine, so without you start the typing, user haven't been start typing, then only the text box sorry, the message is going to be triggered. So I'll show you this pristine. So see, the user hasn't been started typing, so when it start typing, it goes away. And yeah, this is a major error you get. So use dirty instead. So when user hasn't been typed anything yet, so he start writing, and he doesn't he erases all the things, then you get the error. So so this is what you can show the messages to the user. So let us start with the validating, showing errors messages for min length, and for the pattern as well. So yeah, go ahead and write one more div, it should be triggered when min length has an error. If the input has a error of min length, then it will be triggered. Um, dot min length has error min length min length. Sorry, min length. And yeah, class, you must give a class for displaying the red alert box over there. So message must be first name should be at least 2 characters. Yeah, so go back to this code and start typing. Oh, sorry for that. The first due to the first text box. So yeah, it should be at least 2 characters. So when I give an I, it is validated true. So you can type more than 2 characters. Okay. So now we go ahead and write for pattern similarly. So pattern first name should be only alphabets. Yeah. So right. So any type. Oops. So what is a mistake? So has a pattern. Okay. The pattern. Okay. Yeah. N is missing. So now go ahead and type. Okay. Should only be the text box, and it's required, and 2 characters. Yeah. All messages are printing properly. So that's it, guys. Similarly, we'll do for all this, for contact number, last name, and email. So we'll do the validation for all this. I have already typed the code in my notepad. So I'll go ahead and paste this. So I have pasted the code. You go ahead and see the output. So first name, last name, same. It should support the 2 characters and not the number one. Yeah. And the contact number is not, you cannot write a text over here. You can only write a number, and it should start with the +91 like country code, and your number. Okay. And the email ID should be uh, valid email ID, gmail.com. So this is a valid email ID. The all input elements are the validated properly. Now I'll show you how the pattern has been for the email ID and contact number. So this is a pattern for contact number. It should be plus, and there should be 1 to 9, and then it can be 1 or 2 characters. So Australia supports +61 like 2 characters, and US proposes +1. So that is how you're going to validate. And the other characters, after the minus symbol, it's going to validate for the numbers from 7 to 11. Some countries support 7, and some countries supports till 11. So, and the similarity for email validations, These are the email validation. So this is, you can have one to many alphabet numbers or anything, and after add symbol you can have an alphabet or numbers, any symbols. And after dot you should have at least two characters like a dot co, dot in, or dot com, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is also email validation, and a contact number validation, all is done. Then yeah, the whenever the it is not valid, this button is should not be enabled for the users to click on save. So we are going to do this now. So put over here on the submit button, should be disabled when contact form is invalid. Oh, sorry, valid. Should be disabled when contact form is invalid. Okay. Anyway, so this is disabled now. You can not click on this. If the form is valid, then only you can you know go ahead and click that button. Okay. And yeah, see, I have put up one alert message over here. So whenever the form is submitted, it shows as contact submitted successfully. So that's it, guys. The validation template form validation is done. And then next I'm going to be you are going to be learning the reactive form validation in the next tutorial. Bye for now.